My guest today helps people travel with intention, not stress. And her story will surprise you. If you've been feeling stressed, restless, burned out, feeling like you need like a reset in your life, this episode is your sign. I'm Kia, and this is Hot Topics Live podcast. Welcome back. So, my guest today is one of the Miller twins, and she has an incredible story. And we're going to dive into how she helps people fulfill their dreams, expand their horizons, and just relax and feel happy and feel so good by what she does. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring her on. But before I do, I want to just give a quick shout out to my sponsor. If you don't know by now, I am sponsored by Mental Health Code. You can find them on Instagram. I'm not selling you anything, I am enlightening you. Mental health, especially now, is so important. And if you're struggling, you should get help. And sometimes you need to find what works for you. And maybe that thing can be Mental Health Code. So go to Mental Health Code and check it out. Tell them Kia sent you. And like I said, without wasting any more time, let's dive in. And here's Shalana.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, the pleasure is mine, girl. And welcome. I can't wait to hear your story.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it and the opportunity today.
Well, awesome. So I just want to say, I know that we're missing one person that couldn't be here with us, but I'm sure she's here in spirit.
Yeah, my twin sister, unfortunately, she got the flu. So I'm here solo.
Oh, wow. I'm so glad you could make it, but we're going to send her healing energy so that she can recover quickly. So tell me, like
Thank you.
you do something extraordinary for people. Tell us more about what led you down this path.
Well, what led us down this path is just our upbringing. We are from Gardena, California. And for those who are not familiar where Gardena is, it's pretty much in Los Angeles County. And growing up, my mom shipped us off to like a performing arts elementary in a city called San Pedro. Then we went to Bancroft Middle School, that's like in the Hollywood area. And then eventually for high school, we auditioned for LA County High School for the Arts. So we were professional dancers at one time. And just throughout the years, my mom, when we turned 12, we had an agent. So we did some commercials, TV shows, and we were dancing professionally, like in videos. And when we graduated high school, we went on tour with different artists. So it was during the time of touring that our love of travel grew. So that's kind of how we landed where we're at right now in regards to having our own travel business. You want me to pause right now? Do you want to fast forward to like us leaving LA and coming to Atlanta?
Okay, girl, we have to dial it back because you can't just go, I went
We
to
have
a
a bit of a
performing
lag.
arts
Right?
performing
Yes.
arts school and did all of these fun things and toured with all these people, and you sent me pictures of people you toured with whom everyone will know. And so you got to go back a little bit and
Some
share
of
with
them,
us some
yes,
of that.
yes. Well, in high school, so our high school was pretty cool. It kind of reminded me of like that TV show Fame, right? So I'm a 70s baby. So people go back. There was a TV show called Fame where you had to like audition to get into the school. So it was a high school that's on the campus of Cal State LA. And so John B was one of our classmates. He was a year above us, but my sister and I had physics together, and he used to always try to cheat off of us when it came time to take like our physics exam. So that was always funny. But Kahinde Wiley, the one he's an artist. and he has a famous painting of like Obama that he did like a couple of years back or whatever. So we went to school with some people that actually went on and did like some really, really good things in the entertainment industry. So what do you want to know? The first tour, like video? I'm
Yeah.
trying to think, who
So
was our
you
first video? Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, so
Go ahead.
you went to performing arts school, and then from there you started touring. So yes, who was your first tour with?
I think the first tour was while I was in high school, or we were in high school. And so for this, it was, like when the summer jam time comes up, it's usually on the weekend. So that was Usher. So this is like way back when people were calling him Ursher. And I want to
I
say we
remember that.
probably were 16 and he was 15-ish, somewhere around there. So, school would be out, and in the summertime, we do these little summer jams, as they would call it, and we would go, from state to state. We did it with Usher. I'm trying to think. I know we did Shanice, and I believe we were in high school at the time when we were doing that with Shanice as well. But with Usher and Raven Simone, that was another one. But with like Usher and Raven Simone, we would fly out to Atlanta, and sometimes we stay in Atlanta, like at their houses, like during the summertime, and go in between their two houses and just do summer jams and things like that. So that's kind of like how high school went. But once we got out of high school, then we toured. And so eventually we started working for Missy, and Missy had an artist named Nicole Ray. So we did a lot of Nicole Ray's videos. Make It Hot was like my favorite one. And we did Aaliyah. Now, Aaliyah was kind of like unofficial. We weren't really her dancers per se, but there was one summer jam we were at and she had no dancers. And she's like, can you guys please come out? So that was just like an impromptu freestyle. But she was so, she's a beautiful person on the outside, but on the inside, she was a beautiful person too. You know what I mean? She wasn't
Oh,
like,
girl,
it
I
wasn't like, oh, I'm
know.
Aaliyah, that type of thing. She's very down to earth. Yeah, she was very, very down to earth. So she was a pleasant surprise. And again, we weren't officially her dancers, but in that camp, because we did some work for Genuine, all of them together, like, what do they call it? The Super Friends. So when you're doing one of their videos, the other ones would sometimes come down to the set to support or what have you. But with Missy, we also had a lot of good times with her because a lot of her videos, were different, futuristic, when we
Yeah.
did the video where we're on the M coming up out of the water, that was filmed at Universal Studios. And I remember as a kid watching Jaws and being scared. And it was literally the same little lake area that they used for Jaws. We're like on these M's and we're like spray painted black and we're coming up out of the water or whatever. I mean, it was just like really, really cool and exciting. We really had ourselves like some good times. And just being on the road, it was just awesome.
Yes,
Awesome.
Missy Elliott. So first of all, speaking of Missy Elliott, both her and Aaliyah are my all-time top favorite. So I feel like chills just listening to this story
Mhm.
because I love them so much.
Yeah, I loved it. Those were just like some good times. Mariah Carey, somebody else that we danced for, but I remember doing that when we were like 12. She had a song called There's Got to Be a Way, and it was a video that we did. And even Tia and Tamira Mari, sister, their little
Yeah.
brother Taj, we all had the same agent. So we used to always book a lot of things together with Taj at that age, but then later on, we ended up doing a Long John Silver's commercial with Tia and Tamira. And it was like two sets of twins, and we were like double dutching or whatever. And then at one point, they even had us in a singing group with them. It was very short lived. So it was like two sets of twins. And then at one time, we were supposed to be Brandy's backup dancer. But then in middle school, like Brandy took us to Chris Stokes, and Chris Stokes decided that we were going to be a group. But the bottom line is, like, Brandy was the singer, but we were the dancers. And then eventually we became a group. So I remember, like, it is all a little vague, but I remember being in a city called Ontario in the studio. and we were trying to like record an album or something to give to like Atlantic, no, Arista. Was it Arista or Atlantic? I think it was Atlantic Records. I think it was Atlantic Records, yeah. But anyway, long story short, as we know, Brandy went solo, and Brandy is a bomb artist, hands down.
Yes.
Beautiful singer, beautiful voice. So yeah, no, singing wise, that's not happening. I can do a little me. Trying to do a little background, but no, we were dancers. We were definitely not singers. So we just really have some interesting stories with various people. I remember years ago, like when we used to dance for Usher, Puffy was our wardrobe person. And I remember being like 15 doing the Soul Train Awards, and he picked out our wardrobe. We had Timberlands on, and we had like a jean jacket and like jean pants. I remember he was like the wardrobe person for Usher briefly at one time before he became, Puffy or what have you. But also he used to be a dancer. But Puffy is like maybe, I don't know, 7 years plus older. And so like there were the dancers on the New York scene, but then there were the dancers on the LA scene. And so even on the LA scene, my sister and I were like, everybody that was out, like Jennifer Lopez and all those people, although she was New York, we used to see them sometime in auditions. But my sister and I would be 15 and they're like 21, 22. So although we'd be auditioning for the same thing, we get down to the end and then they're like, twins, y'all are still in school. Like, we're not going to have any teachers on set. Like, come back when you're 18, So we had a lot of those situations as well. But yeah, we have some very, very interesting stories like through the years, working with different people and being at auditions and doing things with different people. But it was exciting. It was an exciting time, and especially in the dance industry. Very exciting. The 90s-ish, and around that time, yeah. It was good.
I mean, who doesn't love the 90s?
Yeah, absolutely. So the dancing was different. I love the dancing back then. I love the styles of dance and, the energy and everything that was put into it and the creativity, more so then than now, per se. But there are some times where I do see things that I like, but for the most part, I like back then better. So
oh my gosh. Yep. I loved dancing in the 90s, and I was something of a dancer myself, but I was more into like house music and the underground party scene. So we used to go and meet kids I was in the Navy at the time. So we would go on the weekends and go to these underground parties in Chicago. And I would meet kids like you that were in performing arts school and that were doing all of these things. And we'd all get our dance on together. And we'd have like little dance competitions and battle each other and have so much fun. And it was all love. It was never anything like malicious or hateful, but it was so much fun to just go. And we all knew each other and we all loved to watch each other dance. It was really fun. One of the reasons I love the 90s, because I am also a 70s baby. So, but yeah, it's a really, really amazing story that you have there of how you got a chance to have all of these adventures at such a young age. So I have two questions for you. Before I ask my travel question about this time period, I want to ask you, okay, so we see a lot of things nowadays about the dark side of all of this space. Did you have any, and you did mention Diddy. So did you have any experiences, or did you ever get the creeps, or like, did you do you have a story about something like that?
I just think in general, so I don't have a Diddy story per se. And at that time we were 15. And my mom, she did not play. Like, my mom would be around, so I don't have any stories to add to that. But just in general, I will definitely say that, and I don't know how it is. So like in high school, we were trained in like Alvin Ailey style dancing, right? But the auditions that we would go on were hip hop. So a lot of people didn't know that that's what we really knew how to do. And when it came to hip hop, it was more so, show me what you want me to do. Okay, I can copy it and do it. But our training, because I have an older brother who is a professional dancer and he used to choreograph for Michael Jackson. So there's 3 of us in the dance realm. And then we have a younger brother that did more so acting. So there's 4 altogether. But like, a lot of people didn't know that that's where our training was in. So they never, and the auditions that we went on were not that type of dancing, although that really was my first love. But I would say on the hip hop side of things, there was just a lot of that going on. Like what I'm hearing is nothing necessarily new per se. I just think people are more so talking about it. Because you would hear of things even at that time. But the way that I was raised and my beliefs, there were times where my sister and and I definitely have stories that I could tell on that. We like literally would walk away from jobs because there's certain things that we are not doing. Like we are professional dancers who have an agent. I'm not a groupie dancer, because I think that those do exist. And to each his own. But for me, my whole thing was like, I have an agent. We have our rates that the agent has negotiated. I'm in my hotel room until the car comes to pick me up for the show. And then when the show going back to the hotel, you know what I mean? And I think that there's like a mixture of like dancers who wanted to be in the mix. So like they're sleeping with the artist or they're sleeping with the choreographer or whatever. And if that's what you do, that's what you do. But there seemed to be like a big blur because I think people started feeling like everybody got down like that, right? And my sister and I were one of those ones that did not. Like, this is business and that's it. So there were some jobs like, and then as time went on, like sometimes they were bold enough to actually say, let's do this or let's do that or else. And then the answer is no. So like we had to walk away. And when you're like, young, you have bills to pay, that can be very much like, okay, I may not have rent, I may not have, but absolutely not. Like we're not gonna go to that level again. I'm not saying anything negative to somebody who would. That's just not how we got down. So there were times where we did have to walk away from jobs or did have to thought that we were like friends with an artist per se because maybe we had known them for years and did things, and then eventually they try to proposition you. And so it's like there is a blow on two levels, professionally and personally, because you thought that you had a relationship like a friendship, if that makes sense, right? So I mean, totally. It is what it is. So yeah, that stuff was going on then, and I just think now people are more so getting vocal with it and saying me too or whatever the situation is. But I think that that's been going on for a while. So yeah, unfortunately.
And it happens to men too. so
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So
it reminds me of when I was younger in my 20s and I was doing like fitness modeling and I was doing like little modeling gigs and I was showing fashion lines. So I worked in like a little bit of modeling, fitness, fashion, and all of those circumstances where I experienced things like that, where I had to choose to walk away from what seemed to be like a great opportunity. In fact, one of them was like my dream. Like I'd been working towards it for so long. And it was like my dream job, career move. Like I was going to actually reach my goal, put it that way. I'm not going to out who it was and what it was because it's a big organization and it's well known. And when I got there, what I was offered was like the whole situation. It was just like so not me. I'm not that girl, right? And that's what happens is like sometimes people they take a look at you, especially if you're a young woman, you're reasonably attractive. Or you have a nice figure or whatever it is about you, and you also have some type of talent, that's preyed upon. There's a lot of predators. And so for me, it was a huge deal to walk away from something I'd been working towards for 5 years because I realized what I was about to get into and that it was not going to be the situation that was going to right for me. So I definitely feel you when you're talking about like that's not how you rolled. You're not that girl. You'll walk away from the job, you'll lose the money, and that's the price of having morals. Right? It just is.
And I have a lot of and I have a lot of friends that actually did do those things, right? Because they wanted to pay their bills or whatever. Until this day, mentally, it still kind of like haunts them. Like it's something that was a dark time for them, you know. And fortunately for me, it's not something that I don't have to deal with that per se. Does that make sense?
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, so prayers to them and that, you know, they're able to overcome it and, you know, but
Yes.
yeah, it's definitely something that I feel like is traumatizing and it stays with you. You know what I mean? So,
Hmm. Yeah, girl.
but I
No
will
truer
say
words
this, like,
spoken.
yeah, I will say that like as a result of that, and then my sister and I like living, we had our little 2-bedroom apartment and, you know, trying to pay our bills and we were not trying to move back home, you know, we were like, we were out on our own. So in between all that, you know, we would actually work at a telemarketing company, right? So we just used that as a way to like still pay our bills. Back then it was like trying to get people to like move their home service from or to AT&T from whatever they were using.
Hmm.
And it's definitely not something that we wanted. Rather, and the place was like on Sunset and Vine. I'd rather do that than to sell my soul or however you want to look at it and be sleeping with this person, and that person, like for a job, and just be tossed around like through the industry. So I'd rather do
Mm.
that. And that takes me to the whole travel thing. It's like if I would have known about being a travel agent or having my own travel business, then that is definitely something that I would have done instead of the AT&T you know,
Yeah.
situation jobs, because you know those types of jobs, whether it's commercials, acting, or whatever, that's all gig work. You know, it's all gig work. I love it and that's my first love, but it's gig work. And so it's like just because you have a job today doesn't mean that next week you'll have a job. So you have to have some kind of way to sustain yourself until the next job. And I definitely would have did the travel thing had I known anything about it, but I didn't. And so that's why I'm so excited about the travel business now, because there's a lot of dancers and entertainers that have come up like after us that like I don't want to starve it. You know, I know how it is when you're in between those jobs. And so this is definitely something that they could do that's still considered like sexy, because they can use the content that they're creating while they're traveling and still use that to market themselves, because nowadays a lot of people use their social media to market themselves versus how it was back in my day. Back in my day, it was headshot, resume, and you show up in person. Now it's your social media is like your resume, if that's how you want to like look at it. So it's a good way to like balance your in between like your next acting gig or your next modeling gig and things like that. So we do have some people on our team that are in the entertainment industry, but we have people who are like realtors, hairstylists, makeup artists, and just people who just are looking for a side hustle, because look at the economy, you know, or stay-at-home moms or things like that. So it's really awesome, and it's something that I'm really excited to share with everyone.
So, okay, so I want to get into that, but I want to ask you this one question about traveling while you were touring around. Okay, because obviously that's where you got your love of travel. So, when you were touring, where was your most favorite place that you found yourself? Your favorite place that you found yourself?
So we have a little bit of a lag.
Hmm. I see that.
Favorite place? Okay, you mean while I was dancing professionally?
Yes.
Dancing professionally? Japan. Japan. Japan was my favorite place. And I actually went back there with my sons and my sister and niece and nephew in August. And one of my sons is there now with his best friend. Love, 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 love Japan. Even like the dance classes and the culture and just I just love Japan. Shopping, everything. Yeah.
It's funny
Favorite
that you
place.
mentioned that because I just sent my son to Japan and last year in July. It's his favorite place as well. And now I've got to take my little one and to go and see Japan because now he wants to go because it was so my older son thought it was so awesome. So that's so interesting. And I love that you guys got to go back like you and your sister and your
Yeah.
kids and see it together.
Yeah, we had went there with there was an artist named Puff Johnson. She's no longer around. She had passed away from breast cancer, but
Mhm.
beautiful, beautiful singer. We performed with her. She was on tour there. I think we might have been 18, 19. And then we went back again for another artist called AI. And so she, come to find out, went to my high school, but by the time I graduated, that's when she came in. But she's really, really huge in Japan. She's kind of like on the level of like a Janet Jackson, but in
Wow.
Japan type of thing. So we were on tour with her there when, my goodness, was it 2007 ish or what have you? So we've been there twice, performing with different artists. And so it was really good to go, not as a performer, but just as somebody that was there, like just doing things. And it was really good to show my kids around and do shopping. So we like really, really enjoyed ourselves. But that's the other thing that I think that as parents we should do is allow our children to travel. Like when they're young, underage, take them with us. Get out of the country. Let your children become cultured. See other places. See how other children live in other countries, even if it's like Belize or somewhere like that where they don't have as much as like maybe we have here in the States. And they can get more of an appreciation for what it is that they do have. um but then just instilling the love of travel, because there's just a big wide world out there that's outside of the US. And then just encouraging them in their younger years while they have no responsibilities to travel, and do things. So I think that's just a beautiful experience for anyone that's young, to get started early doing traveling.
I agree with you so much. And I think that right now, more than any time in the history of my own life, is so important to travel and see the world and not wait. Don't wait. Like, just go. Go out there, see the world. Traveling changes your life, it expands you in ways that you can't even imagine before you have the experience. Get out of your town, your city, your country, and go see something different. Go experience something different as much as you can. Because, first of all, time is precious and it's running out. And second of all, you never know what's going to happen
Mhm.
tomorrow. Right. And there was a trip to Portugal that I had been planning to take. And and I just put it off. And then what happened? All of these terrible things happened that kept me from going on that trip. And I just could have kicked myself for
Mhm.
saying, "Why did I not take that trip 6 years ago when I was, like, in such a good space to take a trip and travel?" And now I'm
Yeah.
just like, "When is now I've got to f" like, I'm so much more determined. I'm like, "When is the time? I've got to find the time to take this trip while I'm young and healthy and can run around and have a great experience," right? And so it's so important. It's so
That part.
important.
Yes. Yeah, most people think, "Oh, when I retire." Why would you want to go and do that while when you retire? Usually, you're older or what have you. You want to go, like you said, while you're young and you have the energy to really experience it and really get to explore it on the levels that you want to. And like our lifespan is not that long, and most of us spend the majority of our time at work. 9 to 5. So we can do things and get creative, get jobs that are remote, like whether it's the traveling agency, that like traveling business that my sister and I have, or what have you. Find jobs that are remote that will still allow you to go travel and to experience things, like going somewhere, like going out of the country, being gone for a month to 6 weeks. That's where it's at. Not using like this the 2 week PTO that you get like from corporate America. Like that's not really enough time. But being really able to go somewhere for like a month, that's the kind of stuff right there, that I'm talking about. Learning how to live like the locals, it's just really awesome. So yeah, absolutely. I hope that you get to go to Portugal. You still haven't been able to make it there yet?
Not yet. And this last year, I've been a little bit more nervous
Oh.
about traveling. So that's one of the reasons why I'm like
Mhm.
kicking myself. But you know what? You can't let worries and concerns, rule your life, because like I said, time is precious and it's running out. And you never know, like you could
Mhm.
step out in front of a bus tomorrow, right? Like, so you just never know. And so I think we have to live our life to the fullest and with intention. And travel is such a big part of that. It's getting out of your comfort zone. It's
Yeah.
stretching yourself. It's having new experiences and tasting new foods and listening to new music and getting more cultured from other cultures. Because when you start to experience other cultures, you have less ignorance about them. And without ignorance, you have less fear. And without fear, you have less judgment. And and then you can have respect or even love for another culture, community, or type of people. And so that's what I'm about. And I think travel really gives you that.
Absolutely.
Hmm. Yeah. So I do have a question for you though, because
So
you and your
absolutely.
sister,
That's like awesome. And a
you,
lot of people have known that.
oh no, you're breaking up. That's what's happening.
Sorry,
I
we
think,
had a little bit of freezing.
yeah,
Yes,
we were breaking up
exactly.
a bit. Well, we're live, so we just roll with it. The show must go on. And I've experienced every kind of thing that you can experience being live because I've been doing it for so long. So I just keep going with the flow. But I think the important thing is the message. So I
Mhm.
want to ask you,
Yeah.
your sister and yourself founded your company, and what was your motivation behind that? Was it simply to help other people travel? Was it so you could travel more yourself? Or was it just because you loved it so much?
Well, actually, it was just by accident. A friend of mine knew that I was planning a girls' trip, and she was just like, "Why would you do that and leave money on the table?" And I'm like, "What do you
Hmm.
mean?" So basically, whenever you book a trip, whether it's through Expedia, Priceline, Delta Vacations directly, there's commission that's built inside of the price. But as the consumer, you don't see it. But as a travel agent, you can see it on the back end. So basically, she just at that time had explained it to me like that. So she's like, how about, if you start booking things, whether it's cruises or whatever you're doing, like all inclusive stays, but you get to keep that money in your pocket. But also you can travel like somebody on the inside, like a travel insider being a travel advisor. So I'm like, oh, tell me more. So I got, found out the information about it, and we went ahead and we started our own business. So the company has been around for over 30 years. They're the first like at home travel agency company. And so all the other ones kind of like spun off of that. So yeah, we're building our team. We have a team of over 50 people, and we do presentations like every Monday, doing the same that my friend did for me, which is just educating people on travel and how you can travel smarter, travel cheaper, and how you can keep that money in your pocket so that when you do go on trips, you're coming home to some money in your bank versus just coming home with a pocket full of receipts. So it's just, traveling smarter is what it boils down to. So I'm like, oh yeah, awesome. So even our children, they do it as well. My sister's daughter and my two sons, they're in cybersecurity. They graduated college with their degree, work from home, but they are also in the travel business as well. So like my niece, she just got back from Brazil. She was in Brazil for 3 months. Before that, she was in Singapore, and then she went to Thailand, Canada. That girl's always gone. Carmen San Diego. I'm like, where you at? Where you at? Gone. So my younger son finally decided to copy her, and he's in Japan right now as we speak. But at some point, the three of them are going to go back to Brazil together, but they work from home as well, doing their cybersecurity. So this is just a side like job from them. But what I really, really love about the company is outside of the discounts and some of the freebies that you get as a travel advisor, and then of course, making money on your own travel as well as other travel that you book. So hey, when you get ready to go to when you get ready to go out of town, hit me up. I'll give you some quotes. Okay. They have to where depending on like how big your team is, like right now we have 53 people, but and it kind to me operates like, I don't know if I want to compare it to a pension per se, but when you pass away, this is something you can pass down to your children, and your children can also have their children be beneficiaries. So it just passes down, and it's just something that it's just a beautiful thing, because especially African Americans as a whole, we don't have a tendency to have anything that we're passing down through generations as a whole. I'm not going to say that we don't, but as a whole. So this is just one thing that I'm able to pass down to my children outside of like property and things like that. So it's just a beautiful thing. And it's something that we just love to tell people about, because a lot of people don't even know that that's out there for them, you know. I hope we're not breaking up. Okay,
well,
we
do get a little bit glitchy, but like, and then there's a little bit of a lag, but we're making it. So
yes.
I guess my question is, so people, then you act as like a travel agent. People will come to you and just book their trips through you, or they can come and work with you and become a travel agent as well.
Exactly, and they actually can have their own travel business, right? And they can just put it under their social. At the end of the year, you'll get a 1099. They can put it under their social if that's what they want to do. If they have an EIN, they can put it under that. Yeah, so there's two options. But even with anybody that comes to me for a quote, I always let them see what it is that I will be making, just so that, again, they're educated. Now I can pocket this, or you can come into the business, and this is what you will be keeping off of like your own trip type of thing. So thank you for putting our website up there. I saw that it's Miller Travel Concierge. And if you go there, you can request a quote from the website. But you can become an agent, and there's like a little 30-minute video that you can watch, so you can see like what it's all about and how it works. But the commission that you get is not just on travel, it's also on concerts. You know, I know Alicia Keys is doing her concerts. It's also on concerts, the flight, the hotel, the Super Bowl ticket, anything that's happening around town. Like, let's say you want to do a bourbon tasting or things like that. What about those dresses like that? You know, those flyaway dresses that people are doing in Greece or like in Dubai and things like that. So it's beyond just travel. It covers activities and things like that as well. There's commission in all of that. So instead of like Ticketmaster, whoever else getting that, you will be getting that commission. So it's just a beautiful thing. It's lovely.
Are there startup costs when you are looking at founding your own business?
Absolutely. It's only $199.90. So let's just say $200, and that gives you your travel agent credentials right away. There's no testing, there's no studying for a test. You get it right away. That also includes unlimited training in person, online, like via Zoom, and even self-paced. So we have Disney, Royal, Carnival, MSC. We have luxury travel. Some people want those private jets and butlers and all that. Beds Online, which is kind of like an Airbnb. We have over 75 different vendors, different all-inclusives, like different places, you know, Maldives, Costa Rica, Panama, Dubai, everywhere. So yeah, that's what it is to start up. You get a back office, you even get a website. And then after that, it's only $59.95 a month. And that's just the upkeep. That's just like your maintenance. So like you might want to change out your picture or your bio, things like that. There's 24-hour customer service number that you can call. It's just awesome. And keep in mind, if you have anybody that's ever owned a business, all that is a tax write-off. So whenever you own a business, you're always going to have overhead, whether it's for your websites or whatever. But what I like about this too is there's no product on the shelf. You know, travel is travel. People are always talking about it. As a matter of fact, this is like the busiest quarter, first quarter, January through March, because people are getting their tax returns back. People are trying to figure out, hey, what trips am I doing for the year? So this is like the busiest time. So again, anybody that's watching this, if you're interested in travel, if you're interested in seeing what it is to be a travel advisor and you want to see the perks and all that kind of stuff, you can go to our website, millertravelconcierge.com. You can also go to our Instagram, and we do insider workshops on Mondays. They're like 30 minutes, and then we do a Q&A afterwards. We do it every Monday on Zoom anybody's welcome to come, and then you can ask questions so that you can get educated to see how this works. A lot of the times on social media, you'll see people, they're here, they're there, they're always posting different travel stuff. It's because they're in this type of a business or what have you. So they're getting a lot of freebies, getting a lot of perks and things like that. So yeah, travel is like the thing. So really excited about it.
I mean, it's fun. You know what I mean? It's so much fun, and it's so needed. Like, I can't stress enough, traveling with intention and with the intention of having an amazing awakening experience. There's all kinds of trips that you can take that feed your heart, your soul, for your body, and relieve the stress of daily life. And one of the things that I was also going to say is, you mentioned how this business would be
Mhm.
a tax write-off because you have your own business, and if you work out of your home and all of that. If you do this business on the side,
Yep.
so let's just say that you are an employee, and you have this business on the side. Well, then this business will offset the taxes that you pay. So if you're someone who never gets a tax refund and you have this business, you'll probably be more likely to get a tax refund, to get money back, because the money you're spending there's your cheat code. Okay, I just helped you. I studied accounting.
Oh, absolutely. My
So
my sister and I landed in healthcare. Yeah, my sister's a
mhm.
nurse and I do healthcare IT. And we are in a
Hmm.
lovely, lovely tax bracket, you know. So absolutely. So this makes it to where we don't owe taxes as well. So now it's we get refunds back
Mhm.
because of the business. Yeah. So, you know, my accountant was like, I don't care if you're selling candles. You need to open up some type of business so you can offset, like you said, your W-2 that you're getting, you know. So yeah,
Tax.
it's lovely. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. And again, like you said, traveling is fun and it's good for your mental health, you know. It really is. So, you know, outside of like massages and, you know, things like that type of thing, but like traveling is really, really good for your mental health. You can even do like a retreat, you know, babes in Bali, you know, however you want to do it, you know, but it's really, really good for mental health. And as a matter of fact, I think it's Switzerland. The doctors now prescribe travel. They prescribe travel now as part of your mental health care in Switzerland. Yes.
Sign me up.
Mm-hmm. Because that's how serious it is. Yeah,
It
absolutely. I'm
really
like,
is.
yeah.
It really is. It's so
So,
I
yeah,
recently
good things.
did a values assessment rate online. I can't think of the guy's name, but he does this and he does workshops and he teaches and stuff. But he has an online values assessment. If I can remember what he's called, I'll put it in the show notes. And so one of my top values, as it turns out, is wellness. Okay, it's my business, my relationships, and my health and wellness, right? Were my top three. And what I can tell you
Mm-hmm.
in there is that travel is part of my wellness. In there with the massages and the spa days is travel. And
Mm-hmm.
it's so important to have these experiences. Like, you will find me in my happiest place is posted up on a beach, white sand, blue
That right
water
there.
all day,
Yes,
every
I am
day.
a standing sun. Yes. Yes. I
So
would just have a
anytime.
cooler with my little drinks and food, and I can
Mhm.
sit there all day. I'm there. So
You
with you.
you you can
Mhm.
find me on the I used to live in Miami. You could find me on Nikki Beach from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. And I would even sometimes get food ordered to the beach, or go to the restaurant, or just bring food, like bring snacks. And I could do it by myself. I can sit all day. I don't care. Just the sand and the ocean. And I'm a very, very happy girl. And so it's something that feeds my soul. So I
Yeah.
encourage everybody, if you're listening to this, this is your sign. If you've been thinking, I need to get out of here, I need to go on a trip, this is your sign. Tax season is coming up. Get your refund, use that money to go. Hit up Shalana. hit up Miller Travel Concierge, right? And
Absolutely. We will find something for you that's very cost effective. Absolutely.
so that actually brings me to my next question. So if I was to contact you and be like, "Hey, I would like to create a trip. Like I want to
Mhm.
go on a trip." And what exactly is your concierge services? Like if I call you as a client, what happens?
So I would have you to fill out a form, okay? Because on the form it asks all the pertinent information that I need, like how many people, where do you want to go, what do you want to do, what's the budget, do you want to become an agent? Some of the things that they're wanting to do, they might be able to do for free or significantly less. So I don't even have to bother like going through all that. Let's just go on and get you to be an agent, and then you'll see like what's what there. So it's a form that you'll fill out. It'll come to our email, and then based off of what you said, we'll respond to that. So like I said, there's some people that just want something quick. It's not really a lot that they want. It's just, hey, at the last minute, it's just me by myself and I just want to take a cruise. I want to use Carnival. Okay, if you want Carnival, that's fine. Virgin is like where it's at. That's the one where there's like no kids allowed, virgin, virgin, virgin. But some people want Carnival, so it's fine. I'm here to do whatever it is you want. It's your trip, right? And like I said before, some people want luxury. So they want, that's where the concierge service more so comes in on those that want the luxury items, meaning like a private jet, things like that. They even have kind of like Airbnbs that are on the luxury side of things that come with like, you got your chef and your the person that comes to get your bags and all that, fancy good stuff or what have you. So it just depends on, what it is that you want. But either way, everybody's going to fill out that form. That way I know what you're looking for. And then I'll give you like several price points. I'll give you one within the budget that you want. I'll give you one that's a little bit more. And I'll give you a third one that's a little bit less. That way you have different options and we can figure it out what it is that you want to do. And then I'll go ahead and get that book for you. So yeah. And then if there's any changes or any issues that arise, then they can just call me and I'll get it taken care of. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Amazing. So and that includes airfare and all of that stuff?
Airfare, yes, airfare, hotel, what rentals, and like I said, activities that you're going to do while you're in whatever city, whether it's hiking, just whatever it is, that any activities you want to do, you let me know, and I can get that all arranged and taken care of for you as well.
Oh,
Absolutely.
that's beautiful. That sounds like so much fun. And if one last question about that, because this one's a little bit personal. Um, if I wanted to have a specific locations, like say for example, well, let's use Portugal because already said I want to go there with my friend, right? So my best friend and I want to do a girls trip to Portugal, okay? And there are certain places, certain specific cities and experiences that I would like to have. Is that something that your service would do? Like you would set all of that up custom for me?
So your internet kind of like went out. You said there are certain places and experiences that you would like to have, but you were asking, is that be able to curate and get together for you?
Yeah. Is that
The
like
internet
kind
kind of
of
like
what
went
your
out.
concierge
Is that what
does
you were
as
saying?
well? Yes.
Absolutely. Exactly. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. When you fill out that form, it even has an area, like a free form area where you can let me know any other additional information. And then I'll get on top of that when I'm looking for quotes and things like that for you. Absolutely.
Oh, that's so fun. And so on the business side, then if I came to you and I was like, I want to do this trip, and then you were like, okay, well, do you want to start a business? Then what is it that I would, so I receive what percentage of commission for booking this trip for myself? Or did I misunderstand that?
So you receive what now? Say that part.
So is there a commission? So if
If you
I
said if you
signed up
decided
with you,
that you wanted
mhm.
to come in on the business,
Yes, if I wanted to come on the business and then I would book this trip, I guess,
Of our
myself.
partners.
Yes.
Right. So each of our partners have their own percentage, right? So it depends on what airline you're choosing.
Oh,
They have their car rental place, or if there's an all-inclusive, they have their own. So it depends on which one it is that you choose. So like, let's say if you contacted me and you said, hey, you were interested in coming in, but you just want to see what's the value, what I would do is I would probably get you on a Zoom, and I get into like my back office, and then I'd see what it is that you wanted, and I'll let you look as I'm looking, so then you can see what that commission would come out to be, because it just depends on who it is that you're choosing, if that makes sense, because each of the partners have their own commission structure. So it's not like a set commission rate. They each can choose their own, if that makes sense.
yeah, that actually does make sense. Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing. So it sounds like you can either really save time and energy from booking all this travel yourself and doing everything yourself. And I think, because I think a lot of people would say, well, I can just go online and book all this stuff myself, but there is a benefit to having someone do it for you. So would you explain what that is?
The benefit, people who are like, they'll rather do it themselves, and that's fine. But there are others who don't want to do that. There are others that want to plan a big group, and they don't want the headache of dealing with everybody. They're not like people persons. And so definitely for those type of people, it's better for their different personalities. For example, a friend of mine, she's doing an anniversary cruise, and it's going to be 200 rooms. She doesn't want to deal with all that, right?
No.
But let me tell you also the benefit of it. I have another friend, she does 2 cruises per year that she books, and she books out 100 rooms. She does it once every 6 months. When she comes back for that cruise, she gets a commission of anywhere between, like, and this is on Carnival, which is like one of the cheaper ones that we have as far as commission. She gets anywhere between 55,000 to 60,000 for that one cruise. She does it twice a year, and that's how she's decided that she's making her money in her side hustle. So again, people can decide like how much extra they want. Do you want an extra $1,000 a month, or are you trying to do this and make it to where it's more so a full-time like income? So for me personally, if I'm that person saying like, what's the benefit when I can go do that myself? If you're going to be going on a large cruise that you're putting together, you're doing the work of a travel agent or travel advisor anyway. So you might as well get paid to do it. You might as well get paid to do something that you're already doing. Because the difference is that although you're getting this group of people together, you're not coming home to a check for all the work that you did organizing that trip, sending out this link to get everybody to go ahead and pay. But you're giving that to Carnival, you're giving it to whoever. You might as well pocket that money yourself. So again, some people, they're going to be okay with leaving that money on the table. I prefer to have it because I travel all the time, so it just makes sense. And then there's people maybe don't travel because once you do their credential, once you do their little training that they do, they give you free stuff. I'm not a big Disney person, but those Disney cruises can be expensive, you know? So there's different perks for different suppliers. If you do some additional training with them and there's nothing that you're paying in addition, give you a lot of freebies, free cruises, free this, free that, free, but because they want you to go on the trip. They have other trips called FAMU or FAM, which is basically for travel agents. It's like the familiarization, because they want you to go take that trip so that when you're booking people, you're familiar with it because of that resort, if you've been on that cruise. And so when you're booking people, you're going to be a better travel advisor because you've actually been there yourself, or what have you. So there's just a lot of perks to it. So it's just, do you want to leave money on the table or do you want that money in your pocket? So, it's your choice.
So I guess if you are just so for me, for example, if I was going to do something like that, I don't book for large groups of people. I just book for myself or, friends or something like that. And so is what is the benefit if you do it that way?
For that. Yes. And so on our team, we have maybe about 5 people that, again, they don't even book really for friends. They just for themselves only. And so the benefit to that is just all the perks and like the discounts that you get and all the freebies. So for the things that you're going to get for free outweigh. I saw you wave to somebody.
When
But
people
anyway,
are nice, I say
the perks that
hi.
oh, how cute. Hi. But the perks that you're going to get outweigh the 199 and the $59 a month that you're paying. So it's like all the freebies, the free trips and things that you're going to get outweigh that. So like my friend right now, she only does it for herself. She went to Thailand, then she went over to Indonesia, and she's headed over to South Korea. She just uses it for herself, and she is out there right now having the time of her life, sending me pictures on like Instagram, and I'm like so jealous because she's taking those lovely pictures. She went to the swing that's kind of like overlooking like all that greenery, and she's on these boats, where it's like the drone, and she's just like laid out, and it's like all these flowers like in a water area, or like the koi fish, just really, really beautiful. So yeah, you can use it for yourself. So again, like I said, the discounts and the freebies that you're going to get are even just good to use for yourself. And I do have several people on the team that do exactly that.
Well, it sounds like a great business, like a great side hustle. And I think, also,
Mm-hmm.
if you're just wanting to travel and you don't want a business and you don't want to do all the planning yourself, then having someone that you can reach out to who can do it for you can save you time. Because remember, it's the most important thing we have and we can't get it back. And headaches and just organizing it for
Exactly.
you so that it's like a flawless experience from start to finish. I think I used a travel agent for one trip in my entire life, and it was one of the best trips of my entire life because it was completely smooth. I was going to Mexico. I wanted to be picked up at the airport. I wanted to stay at an all-inclusive resort. I wanted everything to be super easy. I wanted some activities in the little town. Everything was planned. The rides, like all of it was so seamless, and I had to worry about nothing. And that is worth its weight in gold for so many people. When you're a busy professional or you're just a busy person, mom, dad, whatever, and you
Mm-hmm.
just don't have the time, but you want to plan something really nice for your partner, your girlfriend, your wife, your husband, your friends, your best friend, like whomever, whatever, your kids, and just have it flow perfectly from start to finish. And then the actual experience of that is life changing.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I've never used a travel agent at all. I was just always booking things myself. But as the like you said, as the person on the other side now, where I am doing that for people, and that's how they feel as well. Like I said, there's a lot of people who don't want to deal with that. They don't want to call over the phone, or they don't necessarily want to do that on the computer. They just rather tell somebody what to do and let them do that while they focus on other things. So, depends on what you're looking for.
It VIP, I'm not gonna get into the whole name,
How's it
but we're just gonna
going?
go with
Oh, I
VIP
see.
says, "Where have you been?" So where are some of the places you've been?
Travel wise,
Mhm.
okay. So Mexico, several times, Belize, Amsterdam, Germany, and I mentioned earlier Japan. I've been there several times. Trying to think, have I been anywhere else in Europe? No, I haven't been anywhere else in Europe yet. But this year I'm going to be going to Morocco. I'm going to Spain. I'm going to Greece. As a matter of fact, we're going to go to Morocco first and then fly right across to Spain and then just kind of hop around Italy, Greece, what have you. But then we're going to eventually get on a boat, a cruise on Princess Cruises. They have like I'm trying to think, was this one 14 days? Because they had one that was 42 days, and I'm not a 42-day cruise person, but the 14, yeah, we're gonna take a Mediterranean cruise. So I'm gonna do that with my twin, my sister-in-law, and our niece. So that's something that we're gonna do. And I'm also gonna go to Dubai this year,
Mm.
and I'm also gonna do Panama and Costa Rica because they're right next to each other. And that one's gonna be a girls trip. So we're gonna start off in Panama, then catch a flight over, and then end in Costa Rica. So we're probably going to do like several days in Panama and then do several days in Costa Rica. So yeah, the majority of the time that I've been out of the country has been between Belize, Mexico, and Japan. The majority of the time that I've been gone. So those are the other ones are the ones that I'm doing this year. So, and I've been on a lot of cruises, but I don't really consider those like DR. When you're on a cruise, you just get off and you get back on Puerto Rico. You get off, I'm talking about like when I'm there and like there for a while. Like those are the places. So I'm looking forward to like where I'm going to this year. Super excited, super excited.
How long do you recommend travel? You mentioned earlier like a month. So would you say 2 weeks is too short, or would you say the month is the sweet spot when you're going on a long trip or a far trip?
I I love a month to 6 weeks. I feel like if you're gonna go to Japan, you might as well take in South Korea, get some good skincare products, go to their bathhouses. You know what I mean? And it's because it's literally a 2-hour flight. So just like my friend right now who went to Bali, Thailand, Indonesia, like they're all in the same area. So it's like you might as well take that all in while you're there. And for me, I feel like 2 weeks is too much to try to cram in such a little bit of time when you're trying to like eat, and then you're trying to go shopping, and you're trying to take in some, and you also need a few days of just like downtime. Like I hate going on a trip where I feel like I was just running, and then I get home and I'm exhausted where I don't feel refreshed. Like for me, I'm in this era of like, I need to feel refreshed when I come back. And that means I need some days of like downtime while I'm out there just to kind of take it in, take in nature, or what have you. So for me, my sweet spot is a month. 2 weeks is just too short for me. But to each his own. That 1 month to 6 weeks is like perfect for me.
I feel you. Although I will say that I went to Armenia and I was there for 10 days. And
Ooh.
in that 10 days, part of me felt like it was too short and it was crunch. So I get that vibe. But the other part of me was like, ooh, I'm getting homesick. I want to go home. So I don't know. But I think maybe it just depends on where you are and what you're doing. But I definitely,
Mm-hmm.
maybe if I had just like moved around, like maybe if I had gone to Iran or like going to some other Turkey, like if I'm in that area, right? So maybe if I'd done some
Yeah.
things like that, it would have felt a little bit more like I'm changing it up so it's a fresh vibe. But absolutely, downtime is so incredible, which brings me to my next question. And my last question, because it's already been an hour and it's gone by so fast. So I want to ask you, can you give me maybe 3 travel
Oh.
tips that you would recommend?
Mhm. Hmm. I'm always about safety. And especially as a woman, like sometimes I feel like we can sometimes, you hear about things and I'm like, but why? But why? Like not
Mm.
already open drinks, you know, um, checking out your hotel like really well, making sure you may have like some security devices to make sure people are not able to get into your room, making sure that nobody is in your room and nothing crazy. It's just a lot of like, crazy stuff that I see going on, especially with women, and just making sure that the group of people you're going with, like I've seen things like that where it's like, it's questionable. Like a girl ends up, missing or something like that. Where are your friends at? Like making sure that the people that you are with, like have your back. You're not just walking off with like some random guy and your friends are like allowing you to do that. Like it's just, and I know we're all adults, but I just feel like there's some safety things that like, we really need to be conscious of is not go to another country and just go crazy because things happen, so just my tips will be more so on the safety side of things. whether you're traveling solo, especially, or even if it's just you with a bunch of your girls, like you have to just use your brain, just really think about what you're doing, where you're going, stuff like that, and make sure somebody knows. Like I don't when I go out, we don't go anywhere by themselves. I have a friend that likes to get up and jog at 5 in the morning, like even when it's dark. I'm not of that sort. I don't do that because I think of, like, I watch CSI and things like that. But at least let it be two or three of y'all doing that. I don't need you out there by yourself doing that. So
Mhm.
it's just like, trying to find that balance of not making somebody feel like you're policing them, but I'm all about safety. So
Oh my gosh, I feel that. People just make some crazy choices sometimes. And, when I was traveling, when I travel, to Armenia or to Europe, and if I travel alone, I really like to travel alone. But you have to be so cautious. You have to be aware, especially if a lot of times I'll be meeting friends at the location. So I'm traveling alone, but I'm not alone the whole time. And exactly right. Like
Mhm.
it is not about policing other people, but it is about being smart and like united, especially if you have like a girls' trip or a group of guys. I've seen it happen to guys too, where one goes missing and they last seen him leaving a bar in
Mhm.
like 2 o'clock in the morning, right? So it's like you have to, your friends, you got to look out for each other. You got to be paying attention. People don't pay attention. I mean, it's one thing to be friendly, but like you have to also be cautious, because I always ride in Ubers and
Mhm.
stuff. So you need to be really cautious, and you need to arm yourself with some safety knowledge. Like, how do you get out of the back seat of a
Mhm.
car if the doors are locked, right? Like, how do you like, oh, what, just like things you need to know and what to do to keep yourself safe, not letting people know where you're going, not like, not going straight to your room sometimes, paying attention to your surroundings, who's on the elevator with you, where are they getting off at, like all of those kinds
Absolutely.
of
Mhm.
things, right? Because unfortunately,
Absolutely.
there are bad people out there, you know what I mean? And you have to just be careful. So, yes, definitely that with traveling is really important to me. Do you have any more tips before we wrap it up?
Mhm. No, I don't. Just like you said, just being vigilant, being cautious of your surroundings. Don't be on your phone the whole time. Make sure you're looking around. Just that's it. But yeah, you touched on some important things, especially in that elevator. Maybe not going directly to your room. You know, yeah. And sometimes some of these hotels, it kind of seems like it might even be inside jobs. Like, you just really have to pay attention to what's going on. So I don't have any other tips, but it's been great talking
Well,
with you.
I am so glad that you have been a guest. I thought this was so interesting, from what led you into travel being a whole dancing career and hanging out with celebrities and having a career with your amazing sister doing this stuff, and just having these experiences, and that leading you into this amazing travel business that you actually can help people fulfill their travel dreams, but also create a career if they so choose. And I thought that aspect of it was really interesting as well. So thank you so much for being a guest. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. I'm going to wrap up the show. I'm going to put you in the green room. If you have time to stay, I'll say a proper goodbye shortly.
Awesome.
If not, I'll talk to you soon.
Sure, sure will. Thanks for watching, everyone. Okay, bye.
Wasn't she lovely? She was just absolutely lovely and talented. My goodness. And smart too, like 2 careers, side hustle, main hustle, talent. What a life. Well, you've made it to this part of the show, and if you have, then you should just subscribe. And make sure you set your notification so you know when I come live, because I don't even know when I'm going to be live half the time. Okay. I also have shorter content on my channel, and I have shorts on my channel too. So it's something for everyone. You want to watch a 10-minute episode, there's something there. You want to watch 2 minutes, it's there. You want to watch an hour-long podcast, it's there for you. So make sure you set your notifications and you subscribe. If you want to contribute to the episode, then you have to watch live and leave a comment. If you're sweet, if you're nice, I will put you as part of the show. Put your comment up on the screen. Maybe even we can have a dialogue. You can ask a question to my guest. VIP found that today. And so make sure you be sweet, because if you're a dick, I will tell you to click off. I don't play games. Okay. So, what am I doing? I forgot to tell you. Right now, this is for you. It's a very special part of the show. This is called the Soul Truth Self-Awareness Card Deck. And now we're going to have like a little, almost like a little meditation. And I'm going to get a message for you from, I don't know, God, Source, Spirit, Allah, whatever you believe in. This is an open, accepting space. You are safe here. And I'm going to, one just jumped out. So basically, I shuffle up these cards. One flies out and it's a message for you. So take a deep breath with me. Breath is life. Okay. Just get centered. I like to put my hand on my heart when I do that, and just get into my heart space and receive this message. Take what resonates and leave the rest. Okay. It says, what am I most afraid of losing? I'll tell you, if you don't go traveling, you're going to be losing a lot that you don't even know you're losing. As we grow, change, and transform our lives, it requires us to let go of something that was to make room for what will be. If you were to take the big leap today, would you feel scared of losing love, safety, or belonging? What if it was a big fat lie? What if it was impossible to lose any of those things because you have the power to give everything you need to yourself? Today's soul action: name that fear and look at the worst case scenario. Find a solution. Take your power back by being certain of who you are and where you are going. Today's mantra: I move forward knowing I am powerful beyond measure. I am loved, I am safe, and I belong. And you belong here on Hot Topics Live podcast. Thank you so much for watching. If you love pretty pictures, you like pinup, you like to know what I get up to, then you can follow me on any of these places right here. Okay. I have appeared in 10 pinup magazines right now. So I am a published pinup model. This is not me. This is my girl, though, the Rockabilly Barbie. But I am in this magazine. This is my first ever appearance, the first one. And so many more. For example, here is my last cover. So go and check it out on @Creativity. Follow me there. And I appreciate your time. I appreciate you for watching. I appreciate your comments. Thank you so much for sharing this time with me. I will be back again live with one of my dating after divorce episodes. We're going to dive into some tea. So make sure you set your notifications so you know when I come live. Subscribe, and I will see you then. I love you guys. Bye for now.